Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got a good series for you here. It's the AlphaX Pro Series Best of 7 show match. Hundreds of dollars on the line, and most importantly, played just a few days before I'm recording this at the end of January on the new balance patch. We've got Byun in the top right, the player who has been dominating the online scene, and he was already starting to look like the best TvP player in the world before the patch and the map change. And now he's looking unstoppable, and he's going to be going for a very quick proxy barracks forward on the map. The thing is, what's interesting is he's playing against the guy who we will not see him facing in Katowice at all. That's right, it is MaxPax, the young Danish prince, the player who has hidden his identity so far, not confident or not comfortable going to LAN tournaments just yet, despite being arguably the rank 3 player in Europe, definitely top 5. Up there, I would say Reina and Cyril are still a little ahead of everyone else, but then you've got, well, actually, it's kind of rude of me to exclude Clem. Clem wins the European Championship more than anybody else in the last 2 years. It's just he hasn't translated that into international success yet. But I guess just behind those three, you have MaxPax hanging out with Hero Marine, a little bit ahead of Showtime as well in terms of consistency. But MaxPax, of course, has not showed up to a LAN tournament. Despite that, he's one of the most creative players. He's very, very intelligent in how he approaches the game. And he's going to be a real test for Byun, because we know Byun does well versus Hero. But in the past, these guys have played quite a bit, and I wonder how it changes now in this new situation. Because in the past, I've seen MaxPax like 4-0 Byun. I've also seen Byun 4-0 MaxPax. They're very back and forth, depending on any given date, who's got the better feel for the other player. Now, MaxPax sees a double gas build, there's a factory there, that proxy Reaper will be popping out. The Zealot has already popped though, and is rallying back up into that base, and I think we'll probably see a Stalker, as that's the easiest unit to chase down that Reaper with. There we go. Chrono Boost on the Stalker. Zealot's moving, you don't want to move it too far from the mineral line, you want to keep it near that mineral line, so you can apply a little bit of passive pressure, essentially limiting the directions in which the Reaper can pull away. That Zealot, obviously very tanky. It also means if they A-move, they're going to naturally attack the Zealot, which is not great. Good pro pulling by MaxPax, keeps them all alive. Accidentally pulls the Zealot back for a moment, but there we go, fixes all that up. Doesn't lose any workers, and that's a very, very good start for him. Looks like a Widowmine drop follow-up for Byun, but of course that's all going to be spotted because MaxPax has set up a lovely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-point patrol path, making it very difficult to catch him unless your Reaper goes all the way home. Zealot and Stalker will come across the map for a bit of pressure. He's also going to Chrono Boost another Stalker. MaxPax, a big fan of this. Now, I'm immediately having a flashback to that game on Inside Out. I can't remember who it was first. Maybe it was first Byun, where he kept pulling probes to set off the Widow Mines. But this time around, MaxPax has not done that. He could sacrifice the Zealot, but that second Widow Mine will be out, I think, quickly enough that he can't get too much done. If he overcommits to that could be trouble. Does have a Stalker at home. And there is a shield battery in the main, which is very important. That'll stop these Reapers from doing big damage. Looks like the Stalker and the Zealot are going to just back off for now. Oh, I like this move by Byun. He's waiting for the probes. He knows there's probably a shield battery in the main. In fact, he even spotted it building earlier. So he waits for the probe to rally into the no man's land, grabs it there, moves in, sees the Twilight in the second gate, and that there is glorious. A very efficient usage by Byun. A lot of players, when they proxy Reapers, they get focused, on doing way too much damage. It's like, I gotta go do damage, man. And then they actually end up handicapping themselves because of it. They throw the Reapers away, then the Protoss has complete map control, nothing to worry about. The Protoss can drop a Dark Shrine and surprise you with that next layer of tech. But in this case, looks like he's just gonna balance on out from here. Robo going down as well. No Armory just yet. If this was gonna be an Armory Widowmine drop, you'd want to start it before the medevac pops by at least 5 or 6 seconds. Zealot's going to go in and start trying to do some damage. We've got a second barracks on the way. Starport's building a tech lab there. Do expect a Raven after that. Byun loves the Raven, and you can understand why. He is most famous for doing crazy drops. Like, he drops like a madman, he does. Now, looks like the Reapers come in, and yet again, going for the intercept on a rallying probe, just using the fact that there's no vision up here. When those Stalkers are down the ramp, that is a dark spot in the vision. Widowmine drop on the right side. Reapers come back in looking for the exact same move. I like this. This is usage by Byun. Really nicely done. The Stalker now has to split up, and that distracts one Stalker away, which means those Widowmines get in. 2 in the natural and 1 in the main base. The Reapers come in for a distraction, looking to try and overload him, and that gets you 3 probes on top of the couple that went down to those other 2 Widowmines, so 6 probes in total. A very respectable pick-off, especially since those Widowmines in the natural have not died yet. Gonna have to pick those off. And looks like we'll go for it. One Reaper did die. I don't think 6 probes is normally the end of the world, but because his third Nexus isn't started, it especially stings. I think that's a really big problem. So generally, when you guys want to weigh up damage in TvP, losing a bunch of probes, if they lose the Widow Mines, it's like, not the end of the world. If they do a Hellion drop, you lose some probes, not that big. If you've got a third Nexus already building from the start of the pressure, because then the moment the pressure's done, you're done all this micro. Protoss just chronos 3 Nexi, their probe count explodes, and they actually get ahead. MaxPax, though, tends to be on the more conservative side and prefers to go for the counter-aggression. This often finds him in this position where this Stalker attack needs to do damage. He blinks forward, gets 1 SCV, gets 2 SCVs. He's just outside of tank range right now. He's doing that very well. Gets a Marine there as well. And, oh, he goes forward there. Does not get that SCV and loses a Stalker. So, a little bit inefficient. Widowmine drop goes back in and gets 4 probes. Not only that, the medevac gets out of there. It looks like the other Reaper went down as well. Overall, this is a pretty good pickup. Now, MaxPax could trap this medevac. If he unloads here, yeah, I think he'll get this medevac. Let's see. Medevac. Oh, Byun's going to boost, but he doesn't actually micro it. He just boosts it to its death. Happy to take that pick off. With 3 tanks, a bunch of Marines, and a Raven, there's no way you're getting in there for massive damage. I guess you could technically try to blink here, but those other 2 tanks are covering that. So, the tank on the natural... If you blink on that, you're going to take tank shots from that one. I mean, you could kill it, but the thing is, it takes, I believe it's 10 Stalker shots to one-shot a, maybe even 11 to one-shot a siege tank. 175 hit points. Stalkers do 18 damage a shot, but with its 1 armor accounted for, yeah, it takes 11 Stalkers to one-shot a tank. That's a lot. He's only now got 11 Stalkers. He's going to go for the multi-prong pressure instead, but beyond investing in a turret, realizing that as long as you got something to stop the drop going in the back of the mineral line, this works out just fine. Sends an SCV out to repair that. Can queue that back to mining whenever he feels like it. And on the other side, the Raven comes in. Double auto turret. Now, it doesn't get any probes. Remember, these are these new auto turrets. They don't last as long, but gets a Stalker. Keeps the Raven alive, most importantly. And look at that worker count. 54 probes to 51 SCVs. That's very Terran favored. Now, the problem for Byun is he's still building SCVs, but he hasn't started the 3rd command center. Unless he's going to pull those boys as fighting units, it does not make sense to be building so many workers. You can see his natural's already very oversaturated. And the 3rd command center is going to go down up on that high ground. 3 more gateways on the way for MaxPax here as well as Psystorm. Now, this is something I really like to see and I anticipate seeing more of. I think at the moment, people are underestimating the strength of going Storm with Stalker Zealot on the map as your opening splash damage and only going to Robo later. The reason is these maps are generally more wide open. There's more paths, there's more maneuverability. And so you've really got to watch out for the fact that Colossus and Disruptors struggle in big wide open spaces. They prefer choke points. Psystorm in a Warp Prism is a little bit more mobile, and so you can engage, disengage, run in, run away a little bit more frequently, and that does really help out. Now that Raven's going to go down. Very nice pick off there. Anti-armor missile hits only a single Stalker. Nothing to really worry you there. Storm's not ready. Oh, Storm's not ready. He does save the High Templar. The Stalkers blink back, but that means the Natural's in trouble, and those 3 tanks are going to just rip him apart. Yeah, those Stalkers can't deal with it, man. Oh, no. MaxPax a little bit too far behind. The Widowmine drops did a bit too much damage. Didn't get much counter at all. And beyond there, I mean, he wasn't even that committed to this push, guys. Remember, he only had 3 barracks. He was adding the 4th and 5th only after 3rd command center. He had 56 SCVs. That just shows he was just ahead in pretty much every regard. A little bit of a rough game 1 there for Maximus Paximus in the top right. His early defense was solid, but those Reapers picking up a couple of workers, just distracting him enough. Let's see if the Psystorm player can fight back here. A rather large map in Ancient Cistern. Byun in the bottom left side. What's interesting so far is that a lot of the Protoss players are still very blink focused. And on this big map pool, I really feel like there's one player who I haven't really cast any PVTs of lately, and I'm regretting it as I cast this because this is one of the last series I'll be commentating before hopping on a plane this afternoon to go to Poland to cast the World Championship. But Showtime. Showtime's always been one of the best Phoenix Zealot macro players, and a lot of people overlook Showtime because his weakness is always predictability, essentially. He's such a solid macro player, and when he gets his style to a very high amount of consistency, he does it like over and over. And essentially, he's like the #1 Protoss that just gets cheesed out of tournaments by everybody. Like, the thing is, when Showtime's on point, he's very capable of taking on Maru, Bunny, you know, these top guys in macro games, Clem as well, and even stomping them occasionally. But I feel like he's definitely struggled to finish off players like Clem and Maru recently. But on this map pool, bigger map pool, bit better for his macro style, and also better for the fact that he likes to open up with a lot of Phoenix Zealot Archon to control before going into Robo. I think that style's better than ever on these bigger maps. And I'm yet to see the regular top dogs we cast, like Hero and MaxPax, do a lot of that, right? We've seen a little bit of Phoenix Colossus, but I still maintain that I just don't think Colossus are as good on these new maps because the 3rd and 4th bases get very spread out, and it's really hard to defend with an immobile force. Now, Byun is letting his command center get very delayed there. That was a really good block by MaxPax. It almost looked like Byun was pretending he wasn't going for the command center because he didn't bring an extra SCV down, but that's a little sloppy from him. And I'm going to tell you, those small details add up a lot in StarCraft. Now, this is a Reaper into Tech Lab. He's going to do the old school Marauder build. Now, I don't think he's really planning to push into the natural of MaxPax, but I think he's just hoping to catch 1 or 2 Adepts or Stalkers on the map, shut down the vision of MaxPax, and then maybe do some other stuff. Byun also misses the probe there. This is very sloppy from Byun. So I would say 2 mistakes already so far. Because that probe can now potentially scout the Marauders coming. Yeah. But if he can maybe just deny the scouting and then pull a surprise, that would be good. Doesn't look like he's going to go 3 racks. He will be going factory. Adept does sneak past the Reaper. Byun yet again missing. No, there we go. Okay, finally he spots that probe, but the Adept's here to save it in time. And that is a nice hold so far by MaxPax. He's going Twilight yet again. I feel like Twilight's not a bad play, but MaxPax maybe does it a bit too often. Oh, here we go. Adept versus Marauder, guys. This is the slowest battle of all time. Unfortunately for the Marauder, the Adept heals, whereas the Marauder does not. Oh, the Adept didn't keep running. He should have clicked that further away. Concussive is now finished, and he loses the Adept unnecessarily. But knowing the pressure's there, you just have to put down a shield battery, and you can defend completely fine here as MaxPax. Now, Blink has not started, which is a little bit of an issue for him. He's prioritized queuing probes. Finally, Blink starts at 3 minutes 20. But having to build 2 shield batteries already, and having lost... I guess he didn't lose a probe, so that's a very big difference to last game, where it started off sloppy. That shield battery's not quite ready. Marauders can focus it down. They can focus this shield battery down if you're not careful, mate. Byun's a crazy boy. He will try to get in there. He's going to click on the pylon. He doesn't see the battery. I do like that MaxPax hid that in the back as best he could. And the Adept gets back to the battery. And knowing that, Byun's just going to back off. Doesn't really take any extra damage. Good on him. He's got a second barracks on the way. He's going to go Widow Mine drop. And you know what I like about this? Convergence points. So Byun, drastically different opening, goes to the same convergence point. What's a convergence point? It's a point where you end up doing the same thing you've done 100 times before that you are a truly deep expert at. For Byun, that's Widow Mine drop into Raven. But actually, I don't think he's going to go Raven because he's so quick on stim. We might see him try and go more of a reacted medevac and just play Biomine, skip the Raven. I wonder. I think another Tech Lab goes down here, though. Because for Byun, having a Widow Mine drop plus a Raven pinning back the Protoss, that's his set piece that he is an expert at. He's so good at that. And he always finds damage. And players who rely on going 3-4 gate blink, they just struggle to kill him because he plays so safe behind this. So this is his whole format. Byun's whole format in PvT is like, I pin you with this harassment, and the moment you try and attack me, I get big damage done while surviving at home, and it's game over. Because you can do some damage to me, but as long as I play very safe, build multiple tanks and bunkers, like in that last game, I know that I can survive. Now, MaxPax is doing a good job. He's hiding the Stalkers. He's hoping the Widow Mine drop pokes in. And it does. Oh, Byun with a mistake, but MaxPax with a terrible blink. He actually blinked way too deep there, guys. That was a huge mistake. But the Widow Mine drop did accidentally F2 back in, and because of that, that one other Stalker was able to take it out. Now, the reason that was a bad blink, guys, is MaxPax was so focused on trapping the medevac from having no way out that he actually let it get deeper into his base, and it should have got another Widow Mine there and maybe hidden in the back. On the other hand, he confirmed there was no way out, and that was key. Why was that key? Because he wants to be able to just focus everything on the offense with his 4-gate blink and try to kill Byun. Now, Byun desperately needs this second tank. He's building Marauders, which are really important to help his defense. But if he loses like this first Marauder immediately and the tank's not sieged, this could go very well for MaxPax. He's got 10 Stalkers. He's going to blink in the high ground. That tank is not sieged just yet. Already a Marine goes down. Nice siege tank positioning, though. That's what we're talking about, guys. This is very safe siege tank positioning because if you blink on it, a lot of your Stalkers can't reach it. The buildings block for it. Something we realized when 4-gate blink was really popular. This bunker's very well covered as well. You can hit it with 1 or 2 Stalkers up there, but you're going to take big tank shots if you're not careful. And 4 Stalkers in the bottom will find this exposed edge on the bottom. You can get behind the mineral line and pick off quite a lot. That's what MaxPax is going to go for. Now, MaxPax has a 3rd on the way and charge, so he's not as dedicated to doing damage here, because he was already delayed initially by the Widowmine drop. He basically said, I'll just take a 3rd and keep probing during this. And this way, my 4-gate pressure is much more of a, hey, let's force a big reaction. You know I'm going 4-gate. You're scared of it. You're going to play really safe and turtly. And then see what you can do from there. Marine stim forward. They do get an observer. Nicely done. That's a lot of bio hanging out in the main base. Now, do you build a Viking here? I don't think Byun does. I think he really wants to get more medevacs, and he would only build a Viking a bit later. I think there's a pretty good chance MaxPax recalls this Prism or flies out on his own. And for Byun, after the first 4 medevacs, I think building a Viking is a no-brainer. Now, 3rd command centers, almost about 1/3 of the way complete. Oh, he's trying to flank the Stalkers. He unloads on that side, and MaxPax with some pretty good blink micro, picks off a few Marines, gets back. Very good patient control for him. Zealot Sentry is making it home, charge +1 on the way, and he's about to hit 8 gateways as well as a Templar Archives. That's a 4 gas style, but he's forgot to transition onto this 4th gas geyser, so a bit oversaturated on the minerals. And MaxPax looking at taking that 4th base, while he's going to be fighting with a very just big gateway force, all about mobile units clashing in the map. And if MaxPax can defeat this army, get a 4th base up, he will be sitting pretty, but easier said than done, mate. 13 Stalkers should be trying to harry this, though. Now that Blink's off cooldown, he's got to try to pick off a unit, see what he can do. Picks off a Marine, but he needs a little bit more than that. He's not baited any stims out of Byun. He's got a Zealot harass coming in. I like this. Sending the Zealot in, because a lot of people try to build that 3rd on location. In this case, he's just going to block it there. And the tank sieging up Byun, hoping that MaxPax stumbles into him, because MaxPax is going to be wondering, where are you, mate? Oh, 2 Vikings and a turret going to push this back. The Zealots not going to clean up a single unit in that main base. Byun with great attention to detail. Vikings push it back. And remember, Byun ain't all in. Byun's got a ton of workers. He can transfer those over. The Zealot not able to finish that Marauder off. And MaxPax, the problem is that he's very blind right now. He lacks observers on the map. He's got 2 observers out. But I really feel this observer here, he should have shuffled back to the middle of the map. This is something that Zest used to do better than every Protoss player in the last few years. Every time he's on the defense, his observers shuffle back to like be in the middle of the map. And then when he's the one who's being aggressive, they shuffle forward into the enemy side of the map. It just allows him to maintain more vision. Whereas right now, MaxPax, those Stalkers should be far forward, checking when the next attack comes out. On the other hand, he's doing a great job of building Zealots, Psystorm. He's got that 4th gas mining, 5th gas on the way. 4th base is up, and he's got a Prism. It's not a speed Prism, but a Prism with Storm is really nice. 2nd Forge is coming in, and I would imagine that Robo Bay is very soon on the menu. Oh, MaxPax looks like he wants to go for a push. I mean, this can be devastating, but it's a decent pre-spread for Byun. It's just a lot of these Marines are clumped. You want, like, the Marauders don't mind getting hit by Storm, but those Marines, if they get hit by Storm, you lose a lot of your anti-Zealot firepower, and there's not that many Widow Mines. There's only 2 Widow Mines on the map, only 1 of them here. Byun, got to be careful with spreading, clumping up. Tastelope there nervously skittering around the map. Robo Bay is on the way as well, 2nd Robo. And you'll notice with Protoss, past your first 3 bases, you don't really take gas on the extra bases unless you're super rich. It's more about just opening up those mineral patches, so as your bases start mining out, you can keep securing new mineral lines. Alright, gets another observer there. Byun doing really well. He's got a 4th command center on the way. He's only on 1/1 upgrades. Does he have an armory? I don't see an armory anywhere on that buildings tab, which makes me feel like Byun is just gearing up for a big giant push, even though he's got a 4th command center. Where's the 2nd eBay and the armory? They don't exist. And that means that MaxPax, he's maxed out. He's adding more tech. Dark Shrine plus double Robo production is going to be coming in the near future. I know he hasn't built it yet, but you know that's next on the list. That's always next on the list. Now, these Zealots could kill that Widow Mine. The Widow Mine could just see them sitting down there. Oh, he storms and tickles some units there. Doesn't really get too much done. Oh, he just killed a Zealot so that he can start building Robo units. He's trying to build Colossus. 1 Colossus starts. Zealots clean up the Widow Mine in the bottom. He's still got Zealots on the top. He's ready to do these run-bys, but really not finding anything just yet. +1 armor, +3 attack on the way. 1 Colossus building. I'd like to see a 2nd Colossus building, but you can see that he needs to throw away units so that he can actually replace his mass Zealot with better units. 33 Zealots is not a great maxed out army. The DT Shrine starts up. There's cannons and batteries building. Byun's looking to try and chase him down, but I like the way the MaxPax is got to keep hanging out here, trying to buy time. Oh, look at that. He sends Zealots in. Byun's like, dude, that's only one small section of my army. These Zealots get hammered. The Zealots on the south could do okay. Looks like he was looking for the siege tanks, but ends up derping with them. Oh, what happened to the Prism? Did the Prism get shot down? No, it's in the back. Okay, I like that. If you're not watching your army that closely, keeping the Prism in a very safe spot in the back is vital, because otherwise an EMP and 2 Viking shots, and it is 2 Viking volleys, I should say, off the pair of Vikings. 4 Viking shots, and it will go down. More Zealots warping in. The double Robo Colossus is coming in. There's only 2 Vikings, or 4 actually now, with 2 more building. Going up to 8 barracks is Byun, and of course, we know that's going to be a second star for transition. Byun is cleaning up so many Zealots for free. He's actually getting a lot of value, and I think he's going to use this to build more orbital command centers in the future. Second starport goes down. He's got ship weapons, and that means, of course, fusion core and advanced ballistics is next on his list. Now, is MaxPax a player who plays Tempests or Carriers? I feel like he's more of a Carrier guy. In this scenario, once the libs come out, you really want Tempests to pick away at their tanks and Liberators and just force them to come forwards and walk into your Psystorm, your Colossus, your Disruptor shots. Keep in mind, MaxPax, he's max, he's starting to float money. He should go 4 Robos right now, so that if he loses a fight, he can produce Disruptors 4 at a time. Go. This is a scary position for... Oh, he's getting surrounded! Byun comes in with a crazy surround. The High Templar. Oh my god, one of them dies in the Prism. He does get a big storm on the left side, but Byun with a gigantic surround here. Colossus rallies into the fight and dies up there as well, and that's a terrible situation. That's what you've got to watch out for. Only on 1-1. Remember, the upgrades were so much... They're actually a bit better for MaxPax, about to be way better, but he just gets overrun. He's got only 1 Psystorm and 12 Zealots to fall back on. Good Storm to buy himself a few seconds, and that Bio Army is heavily wounded. He's trying to build 2 Colossus. Imagine if he could build 4 at a time right now. He's got the money for it, and this is what I always talk about this so much, and people really think it's a noob thing, building extra production, but I'm adamant that if you're maxed and you've got a good income, adding an extra couple Robos is massive. Now, he's on 14 gates, so you can argue that's more important, getting to 14 gates, but a few more Robos is pretty damn huge here as well. Colossus are out, the first 2 of them. Giving up this base is not that big of an issue. He's still got 5 bases behind. It's only 13.5 minutes, so the bases aren't all mining out yet. He's got to move up here. Does MaxPax. That army's way too wounded. Byun needs to leave. Byun staying here is a huge mistake right now. He's only got 6 medevacs with a maxed out bio army. And that means that he is really in a big spot of bother. No battery overcharge for some reason going down. I don't know why. I can't believe MaxPax is actually spending all of his chrono that well. MaxPax is actually that good at macro. He only just got 50 energy for chrono. I'm like, there's no way on 5 bases you don't have 50 energy for overcharge. MaxPax is like, excuse me, sir. I am that good at chronoing. How do you think I got 4 Colossus out this quickly? MaxPax able to remax here. But you got to be real careful, because you're always going to be playing on a smaller army supply than the Terran. He's got mules, he's got a bigger army, but the lack of medevacs is really hurting Byun. I think Byun is actually making a huge misplay if he commits to a fight here. Just look at the Marauders. They're all missing 30 hit points. The Marines are missing 10 or more hit points. Some Marauders are down below half-life. That's a lot of Zealots on the other hand for MaxPax, which isn't great, but the moment all the bios this wounded, suddenly Zealots seem like actually half-decent units. DT's coming in now. They do have DT Blink and 3-2 upgrades. Upgrade advantages just still ahead only by 1 for MaxPax, but oh, great Storm! Great Storm, and the DTs take out the turret on the south side. SCV's starting to fall. Byun should have ran those workers away. He should not have left the workers there. The workers are the most vulnerable part. The biggest thing with DT harass is pulling your workers away. Zealots posturing on the other side. EMP does hit those DTs, but they still blink on out of there and get away for now. New base goes up on the north side. Byun does have that planetary up. Byun is not dead by any means. Yes, MaxPax is back in a dominant position here on the front, but you got to realize it's still a mass Zealot army versus a big Bio Ghost army. Bio Ghost ruins Zealots. They lose 1/3 of their hit points from the EMP, and then they get gunned down by a big bunch of range units. There's still no good answer to the Liberators. There's only 4 Stalkers in this army. MaxPax does not even have a Stargate, so he can't transition to that. He's just trying to do Zealot DT backstab while this army tries to catch him where he's not sieged up. Now, MaxPax is building 5 more probes, which tells us, guys, he is mismanaging his economy. He's got 9 idle probes in the main. He's got 8 idle probes, or probes over mining on that base. Essentially, what he's doing right now is screwing up. MaxPax just gone to 100 probes, and the thing is, he doesn't realize he's on 100 probes because that income there does not represent what 100 workers should represent, but it just shows, look at that, he's got another 8 probes there. He has about 30 plus workers that are not efficiently mining. So he's got the income of a 66, 70 worker player while using an extra 30 army supply on those workers. And the Disruptors, the Colossus moving forward, he gets a decent Disruptor shot, but yet again, stumbling into enemy territory. I mean, MaxPax has got to get back together and pull his stuff together. He's still only got 2 Robos. He's just lost 2 Colossus and a Disruptor for no good reason. And he's still kind of just throwing these things in one at a time. You can tell he was trying to scare him with that army while this hit, but it was a disjointed attack. These units should be pulling back. MaxPax, normally known for his famous preserving of his Dark Templar count, keeping them alive. But right now, you got to say, well, these Widow Mines just keep getting kills. Why aren't we rallying an Observer down here to clean that up? You know, why is that army on the top not pouncing on that undefended planetary? It's because he's getting put in a passive position. EMP takes out the ability to recall. That base is going to lose all those workers, which is actually good for MaxPax. I kid you not, losing those workers is actually great for him once he fixes up all of his mining and actually gets his idle workers to move around. He gets a planetary on the north. Losing those 30 probes seems terrible until you realize he's still, 20 probes down, still at 83. That's more than enough workers for this situation. So Byun does him a little bit of a favor there. Byun doesn't know that though. So for Byun, you feel pretty good. You're like, oh my god, that feels awesome. It's one of those games you look at it afterwards and you're like, oh really? That helped him? He'd mismanaged his economy. He overbuilt it. That's how, you know, not knowing what's going on in a battle sometimes creates very weird situations. That's the game limited information. You can't see the whole chessboard. Medevacs pick up and boost away. Great evacuation. Dives on the top at the same time. MaxPax is going to go for a desperate counter push. I don't know if that works. He's got Disruptors here, which of course, if you're defending with Disruptors while counterattacking with your own army, that can do very well. And he does get a few big boomy booms on top of these Marauders, which is pretty nice, but with no supporting units, you can see the Marauders absolutely smash. DT's coming in, Zealot Stalker coming in, but the Libs and the tanks come back, and they work kind of like those Disruptors. The Stalkers are going to get pushed back, as will the Zealots. The Doom Drop on the right side, taking out a base. Zealots are clearing up that army on the left, and the DTs are starting to cause quite a bit of havoc. A few of them go down, but they've cleared the tanks out. The Zealots that were on the other side of the Lib sieges are doing all right. Looks like battery overcharge already got used here. This Nexus can fall if he just clicks on it, but he might be a bit more focused on trying to get out of there. Some nice snipes go down. Looks like they got out of vision before the scan drop, though. Byun's going to try and pick up and save some of these units, and he does so. And now both players' economies are heavily wounded, but MaxPax especially, I think, lost not just the probes earlier. He lost another 15, 20 probes, and he lost 2 of his most important Nexi. Needs to get some workers back on these minerals, and needs to start using that select all idle worker button. For those who don't know, there's an idle worker button. If you hold down control and click on it, or control and whatever your hotkey is, I think F1's the default, it will select all your idle workers. So if you guys get to late game, it's really messy. Just go control F1 and then just click on a mineral patch. Obviously, if you customize your keys, you might need a different key for it, or just click on the button. But it's something which MaxPax has clearly not been doing this game, because there's been a lot of gas workers just sitting idle. And, oh, that Disruptor, please clear up those Widow Mines. There's plenty of Zealots there, but snipes. Oh, nice way to start that fight. Just sniping off a few Zealots. You can just pick up and get out of there. I feel like Byun has just played the fighting so clean. He's at a 2-to-1 cost efficiency this game. And just a few very nice surrounds on this map. But you can tell MaxPax, he's been playing this map pool for about a month now. He's not super comfortable with the positioning. It felt like too many times he kind of like lost vision. And I guess it also comes down to Byun scanning all the observers and denying his vision as well. DTs will find the rally. Byun's trying to micro against it. The planetary will eventually clean it up. He's pushing forwards on the front as well. Battery overcharge goes down, but that base is going to get annihilated. A few DTs will come in from behind and immediately die to the scans. Big attack on the south side comes in as well. 14 Zealots will warp in to try to deal with it. But that's a lot of bio, and it's got medevacs, and it's in a bit of a choke point. And the EMP as well, and they slaughter. Dude. Oh my gosh. The units lost tab 20,000 to 40,000. Byun. I really wanted to cast this series, guys, because I wanted to see how Byun does versus one of the other Protoss players. He hasn't been playing as much recently. He's been playing against Hero so much, and one or two of the other guys, but MaxPax here, so far, 2 games into this series, he's going to need to change things up. He needs to get in charge, get confident, and clean up his play, because beyond it, that efficiency is disgusting. All right, well, showing a fantastic understanding of when to just sit back and let your opponent make mistakes into your defenses. Shopify Rebellion's Byun, top left now with Gressvan, up 2-0 in this series. Gonna go for another proxy barracks play. Get some Reaper aggression across the map. Went pretty okay in game 1. But we'll see if, of course, Psystorm's MaxPax makes the mistakes again. Remember last time it was the Reapers jumping in from the ledge, running over here and killing the probes, rallying to the natural. Now, one thing I'm a little critical of, especially as we move to maps like this with a longer pool, is that so many Protoss players at the top, MaxPax and Zaun and Hero as well to a certain extent, though Hero is one of the few who doesn't always do it. They almost always go Gate, Cybercore before Nexus, and also like MaxPax is obsessed with the shield battery in his main. I feel like he essentially just plays a bit too conservative all the time, where like every game, MaxPax, he lacks the edge of skipping the shield battery and just defending by having well-positioned units. He lacks the edge of squeezing in a Nexus before Cybercore some games, like that sort of stuff. Now, and also, you know, you can skip a scout in this matchup, and it saves you enough money that you can just afford to go very quick, like Nexus, Cybercore, basically at the same time, chrono out 2 Adepts by default, and because you've saved the money early and everything's a bit faster, it ends up being a mixture of safety and aggression, and yet the top Protoss player is not too keen on it. I understand why. I mean, when you got guys like Maru that 1 in 3 or 4 games are just going to spam 1 base armory, Widowmine drops at you, you're like, okay. Not knowing that's coming sucks. You do, you know, scouting's kind of important in StarCraft. So it's going to go 20 Nexus, 20 Pylon, and then starts up more probe production. We'll get that 21-second gas as well, most likely there. Probe's going to see the factory in a moment here. Obviously, just keeping it moving around that base. I'm interested that Byun's chasing it. I guess you kind of have to defend the SCV on the factory. And this first Reaper's going to come out. Will we see a second Reaper? It's pretty standard usually for a proxy, but recently some people have been mixing it up. I know Byun has the Tech Lab Marauder follow-up. No second Reaper. He's just going to float it home. All right, nice conservative one. And as we said, you need an SCV to guard the factory, but he sent it to build the depot. Other SCV comes back just in time. Let's see if he can pick up a kill. And Stalker's almost down. Good probe micro so far for MaxPax, and unfortunately he does lose it. Well done by Byun, but can Byun get out of there? Stalker does, I think, 14 damage a shot. Oh, is there a ledge? Yes, there is a ledge on this map. There's a secondary ledge on the natural. Reaper gets out of there very nicely. Now, at this point, if you want, you can save this probe as MaxPax. Interestingly, he's not scouting for the command center. This is a very big main base, so it's actually down there. I wonder if he goes and checks for that. I think seeing that the guys had pulled off gas and now they've put back on gas is kind of fine. MaxPax not looking around this base that much. Interestingly, Tech Lab Factory. So I think Byun's acting like he's building a Cyclone here. He wants MaxPax to think that. But he's actually building Widow Mines. Did he see the Stargate of MaxPax? He did not. So MaxPax has gone Stargate. 2 Stalker into Stargate is kind of tricky. Stalkers are very gas heavy, right? So he saw Stalkers. He also probably saw the Warp Gate spinning if he got in that deep. But then the Warp Gate got cancelled. He dropped a Stargate. He's denying scouting with 2 Stalkers is MaxPax. And he's got a shield battery as well. What's the shield battery for? I guess in case the Cyclone arrives. Right. But now the Reaper gets into scout. And I don't know why he didn't leave a Stalker on the ledge. It's the same ambush as in the previous game. Yet again. I don't know why he pulled his Stalkers to his natural. MaxPax keeps letting Byun see everything that he's doing. Phoenix is such a good play if you hide it. I know I'm sounding very scathing right now, but the whole point of doing a Stalker play like this is to deny their scouting, give off the illusion you're playing Twilight, and then hide the Phoenix. Why? Because that incentivizes the Terran to do things like go for Ravens. Guess what? He just canceled a Tech Lab, guys. Because he's like, wait, I don't want to go Raven anymore. Or maybe it was a reactor or he misclicked, I don't know. But he's going to commit to the Widow Mine drop even though he knows there's Phoenix on the map. And the funny thing is, MaxPax is actually so mind-gamed here because he's like, well, you know I have Phoenix, so you're not going to go for a Widow Mine drop. So I better go be aggressive and harass you with my Phoenix. But that means they're out of position for the defense. This is Byun showing a 300 IQ understanding of his opponent. He's like, well, you know that I know that you have the counter to my thing. So you're going to assume I don't do the thing because it's bad now. Guess what? Because you know that I know, it becomes good again. And this is the frustrating thing when you play StarCraft in a way where you're just like, oh, in this situation, you always do this. Anytime you're predictable in a strategy game, it doesn't matter if that is correct logic you're applying. If your logic is always too correct and too consistently the same, then you can be abused because your opponent then knows what gambles to take. And we see here, luckily, that was a very crisp reaction by MaxPax. I mean, only losing 4 probes. That could have been a lot worse. That shows just the speed of the recall, great probe micro, and not getting too much damage. 4 probes and a bit of mining time. Nonetheless, if the Phoenix were at home looking for it, he could have intercepted it and taken 0 damage and not had to use the recall. So still a clever idea for Byun, who's now just keeping his Raven there. He's got to keep that Raven in the back, man. If the Raven gets picked off, Phoenix can jump on that real quick. You got to be careful with that Raven. Keep it behind the Marines and the Cyclones. 2 SCVs go down. I like this damage from MaxPax. Now, MaxPax is going to be going for the Colossus Phoenix play. So we've been seeing this a lot lately. I think the new map pool is terrible for it. I really feel like Terran players can basically just expand a bit faster than normal, do a mixture of Widowmine drops and multi-prong bio play, and outposition you because you are playing a very immobile style with the Phoenix Colossus. I really feel like, yes, I get it's a longer rush distance, so playing a defensive style can be good, but look at the distance from your main all the way down to your natural, to your third, and then to your fourth. There's a lot of ground to cover, and whilst Phoenix can cover that quite well, the moment a drop gets unloaded, Phoenix can't fight it on their own, and Colossus are very immobile. So this is my whole kind of theory-based issue with this style. I'm really looking forward to watching Katowice, talking to the pros there, and asking their opinions on it, because I am going to be, you know, I have a lot of strong opinions on StarCraft, and whenever I get to go to a LAN tournament and then harass pro gamers about it, and go, hey, why are you guys doing this? There's always a point of view that I haven't fully taken into account. Often they listen as well. You know, pros are often going, they're pretty open-minded these days. I think in the old days, they're a bit more closed-minded. But they often go, you know, that's a fair point. I haven't really tried that. That sounds like it'll take practice and I've got to get used to it. But, you know, that does actually make sense for this map and this map. Or, you know, usually we all come to a better understanding of what's going on. And hopefully I can come back after Katowice. I'll be casting all the replays of it here on my own channel as soon as I get home as well, of course. And you guys can ask away with your questions then, and hopefully I can answer everything and provide some insight. Gets a Cyclone, nice pick-off. Does feel like these Phoenix are kind of running circles around Byun. I think the problem he's having is, because he went the Raven and hasn't really snuck a dropout or anything, it feels like he's just kind of pinned back a little bit, and that's a very late third. So, I mean, he's got a decent army, but it just feels very front on for him for now, with cannons, batteries, second Colossus coming out. Phoenix as well is an issue. I also think in general with the battery overcharge being nerfed, Colossus styles in general are not as good. Colossus are still a great unit as the game goes on. I agree with MaxPax adding them in game 2. Just think he was a little slow to add disruptors behind them and let himself get surrounded once or twice. Twilight Council is coming down, which tells us MaxPax will be going to charge and Zealot transition soon. He goes for the Raven dive! Oh, he loses 2 Phoenix for it. I think that's not the end of the world for MaxPax. It's not good. Oh, no! Oh, he loses air control. Okay, now Byun can just pick up his whole army and drop. Yeah, 100%. You're playing Byun. You know that he's going to do this. You should start warping in Stalkers as MaxPax, just so you can get a little bit more damage or build more Phoenix here. That is always Byun's instinct. The moment he's able to doom drop you, he will do it. It doesn't matter how aggressive or dangerous it is. Now, I still feel like his army on the front's a little bit weak. And that's kind of the thing where he's not able to really exert pressure in 2 places. I don't know if this is going to work out for Byun or not, even though he got a lot of the Phoenix for free. He's got to just pick up and leave because those Colossus are so close. The probes didn't pull away though, MaxPax. MaxPax losing 13 probes very quickly, already making this move kind of worth it. Byun needs to get out of there. He saves 3 full medevacs of units, but I say saves, more like ferries them to the main base. Can they get a bunch more probes before they go down? MaxPax is losing so many workers. He's got to be careful. On the other hand, he might just be able to counterattack after this. If he cleans up all of these units, he might just be able to counterattack. Oh, the Phoenix gets that full medevac. 1 more medevac looks like it might get out of there. But I think MaxPax is going to be on the warpath after this. Charge is just finished. He's got 8 gateways coming up. His last one's going to be transforming in a moment. He's going to chrono a warp prism. And he's already thinking about the counterattack. Yeah, he's building probes. He's definitely behind on income. I mean, this is still a decent trade for Byun if he can drag this game out. His third was very late though. But if Byun can then go towards like a 4th base and just keep trading like this, keep the fighting maybe on MaxPax's side of the map would be really good. Because remember, MaxPax has no anti-air. So Byun can literally just keep dropping. And what's he got? 1 Phoenix and a few Stalkers with no Blink upgrade? MaxPax is still not making Blink, which tells us no Blink, no 4th base. You might be wondering, well, what's his plan? His plan's to go kill him, guys. There's no ghosts out yet. The first 2 are about to pop. But if he can hit with a bunch of Archons in front of this army, a big wave of Zealots, he might be able to just kill Byun right now. Equal army supply. There's no Vikings. And of course, the upgrades are only one ahead for the Terran, which is not too bad for this stage in the game. It's a pretty big Protoss army. Here we go. Big warp-in of Zealots is going to come at the front. Force fields could be big, as could Guardian Shield. I like that he's being patient on that Guardian Shield, pulling the Zealots back. Every time you bait a stim out, remember, it's hard to heal up. So just drawing the fight out in the combat could be bigger. Force field there would have been massive. He misses the opportunity and lets most of those SCVs escape. He's still moving on forwards, trying to bait Byun into stimming so then he can just back off. Bait him into stimming and then back off. Fourth command center goes down. Byun doesn't have the numbers. He's got no Vikings. He does have some ghosts coming out now, but damn, that's a big army, man. And it feels like the Zealot Archon, there's no great answer to it right now. The Colossus also just roasting and toasting. Yes, Marauders are good versus Colossus, but SCVs get absolutely toasted, and there's just no way to clear the Zealot Archon frontline. MaxPax, whoo, losing the Phoenix was scary, but he shows, hey, Pig, you might be doubting the Phoenix Colossus style. But I'm good enough at splitting my units up, and the moment I snap those drops, I will be across the map with a very, very vicious intent. Gets 1 point on the board. All right, not going to go down without a fight. Sizestorm Gaming's MaxPax on the top left side of the map. Starting to clean things up a little bit, but losing those Phoenix still a worrisome point in that last game. I think it did work out, though, just because the Phoenix had his opponent contained so much. Playing very well and repping Sizestorm Gaming for a long time now. Shopify Rebellion's Byun. For those who don't know, Shopify did get him, I believe, sports psychologists and people to work with him on his psychology and posture, since he did have a psychosomatic wrist pain. He had very inflamed wrists and severe pain, but only when playing on stage or in GSL, anytime he was on camera. And that's something which at Home Story Cup, I didn't notice any pauses in his match for wrist pain specifically, though I mostly watched that off replays, not live, so I might need to double check the VODs, but he did really well. I mean, Byun made it to the top 3, I believe, at Home Story Cup. He beat Serral. He beat a lot of people. He beat a lot of the best players in the world. He only really fell, I think it was to like Raynor, and I think it was the Estrella in the rematch managed to beat him. And his series versus Raynor was still very competitive as well. So high hopes that he can clean things up in terms of those wrists and get a bit more consistency going into this World Championship. It's been 7 years. It's 2023, or I guess just over 6 years actually, since we've gone from BlizzCon World Championship in November to now Katowice being the primary World Championship in StarCraft in the last few years, and that's in February, March. So it's either way, it's a long time between holding up that championship trophy. I mean, when he did that, Byun did that in the sickest arena ever for BlizzCon, in, you know, the first one in Legacy of the Void, in a time when everything was madness. The balance was crazy at that time. He had tanks that could pick up in medevacs, which seemed really imba. His Reapers seemed really imba, but on the other hand, Darks, Ultralisks were pretty much unkillable if he made it to Ultralisks. They had like 8 armor or 9 armor or something. It was something where like Marines did almost no damage. Marauders attacks were split into 2 different attacks in that period of StarCraft, so they basically tickled Ultralisks. You like needed Liberators. No one ever made it to Ghosts at that stage. It wasn't even something people talked about. I can't even remember if Snipe was any good at that time. But yeah, that was a long time ago. He did that while teamless at a period when everyone thought you had to be in Pro League. You had to have a team, coaches, all these practice partners. And he basically was the one-man army, the ladder hero. Just practiced on ladder. And as a result, became a big fan favorite. Everyone fell in love with him. But he struggled to replicate that success on such a huge stage. I mean, most players only ever get a world championship once. You'd have to be a rogue, a Serral, or an SOS to say otherwise. SOS was the first one to win 2 world championships. Oh man, this Adept's tearing it up. Uh-oh. Oh man, I'm hyping up Byun here. That Adept got, was that 2 Reapers? Okay, got a Reaper and SCV, almost got a Hellion as well. Well worth it for that Adept. And then this Adept comes in, gets a few hits off as well. Those Reapers are just gonna have to run away and hide. Definitely should just curve off to the left. Shouldn't commit to the main base here, because you know there's someone waiting for you, so he's going to curve to the right. Interesting. Fair enough. Phoenix is coming out. And of course, Byun does know about the Stargate, so he can assume as much. He's going for a Cyclone into 3 barracks before Starport. Byun thinking about doing a big 2-base push. This map's rather long, but let's take a look at this. Usually Protoss takes this 3rd. There's no really good tank spot unless you can get up there. If you can get up there, I guess that's actually pretty slick. That's very close. So hard to get there without fighting into overcharge. And it is going to be the 4 gas. 4 gas style there. So that's going to be Robo Colossus coming in afterwards. Excuse me, just kind of muting my mic quickly to clear the throat. Cyclone versus 2 Phoenix. Phoenix can get a fair bit of damage on that. You gotta be careful. Once there's a 3rd Phoenix, that is easily a dead Cyclone. I think with 1 Phoenix shooting it takes... Oh, actually, yeah, just 2 lifts can kill it. Oh, that's a big mistake. You should not be out there with just 1. He tries to pull SCVs to repair as well, but that's way too far away. And now he's building Marines and tanks, and the problem is the Phoenix will easily see that. The Hellion Reaper goes across the map just to see what's going on. But there's a Robo on the way. He's going Colossus, which is already pretty good versus 2 base pushes. And now, look at that. Free kills. Free kills galore, mate. Oh, that is... And now he's going to go across the map. See, 3 racks in a factory. And if I was Byun here, I would have so little faith in my push working. I would actually drop a 3rd command center. I would cut factory production, probably, and build a 3rd command center. But then, even then, you can't hide that 3rd command center. Oh, it's just... There's no good choices here. The Phoenix are like, oh, okay. Tanks and just a handful of Marines. Okay, okay. You're being... Oh, okay. Now, in this scenario, do you go Twilight on 2 base and just try to add charge? Go like 4 gate, Colossus charge. I like the Immortal. Getting an Immortal, very good for dealing with the tanks. So you have Colossus clicks the Marines, and then Immortal clicks the Siege tanks. Phoenix can also pick up Marines if they want to kill units pretty quickly with the bonus damage, or they can just pick up the Siege tanks to disable them, which can also work out now. Byun's going to move out here with a posturing attack. This cannot really commit to get a win or anything like that. He's just going to move across the map, threaten. He brings a few SCVs as well to make it look scary. He can repair the tanks, maybe build bunkers. I just don't think there's too much chance to get much done. The Phoenix should be going for the army trades right now. So he should be going to pick up these Marines. There's free Marines on the back end of that rally. But you don't want to be losing Phoenix here. MaxPax's a little sloppy. This is unnecessary. He can just sit over the production and pick those guys off for free. There's no reason why he should lose a Phoenix there. And Phoenix are just chilling out. We've got a Sentry, a few Adepts, and an Immortal. Adepts are nice because they're ranged units. They won't run quite as far in. And notice he is going up to 4 gateways. No Twilight, though. He's just going to spend all that gas on Colossus here. And the Immortal trying to help out as well. Stim and Shields is done. Oh, careful, MaxPax. Let's take 2 tank shots. Could heal those Adepts up if he pulls them back. Turrets are going to be building. Phoenix will, of course, see more Marines coming, and he can just go take those out. 6 Phoenix. Easy match for that. Now, this should be a fight that's very winnable. If he just chooses to fight here, he can pick up the tanks and just move through the Marines with his ground army. Or his Phoenix can keep picking off the reinforcements and take it kind of easy. The Marines try to go back, realizing that's not enough Marines. But if he stims, Byun can deal with those. MaxPax got to be careful. He's going to go that Twilight now. Yeah, like I said, in this scenario, the moment you get charge up, it's such an easy fight for you. You will crush. But now you let the turrets get up, you can't really fight him on the front. So you've got to be a bit more patient as MaxPax, and essentially he's just going to go 7-gate charge Colossus, which is not bad. It should beat the setup of Byun because, well, he's only just building his first Marauders now. He doesn't have any medevacs for healing, and you still got your Phoenix that can harass and be very annoying. Just going to pick off a few SCVs there, so baiting a Stim. Remember, that Stim is unhealable, guys. It's like killing 2 Marines just by making the Stim happen in terms of total hit points that you've removed. He's also going to take a corner base. Very wise idea when you're contained. The bunkers, man. I don't like letting the bunkers get up. Building a 3rd Colossus is interesting. I really feel Disruptors are better because they outrange all of this and can chip away at it from afar. But I think MaxPax says, dude, I'm making enough Zealot Archon. Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone knows 3 Colossus, pack a Zealot Archon is just... You can just A-move this, especially if he warps Zealots in on the right and flanks it. Byun's going to go over there with an SCV and see what's up. Phoenix will pick up the Marines and Marauders, going after a medevac as well. The other medevac boosts in the other direction. Easy pickoffs here with these units. More Marines going down. Oh, yeah. I mean, Byun's dead in the water. His rally is just getting destroyed by Phoenix. They're going to get so much value. Look at this units lost tab. 3-1 in favor of MaxPax. And like we said, the moment he lost that Cyclone, he lost any ability to zone out MaxPax scouting. And this sort of 3-rags build relies on you denying the Protoss scouting. Marines do stim to the right side. They're going to try and take out some of the pylons over there. He's going to send a bunch more Marine Marauder, while also trying to maintain position at the front. But with charge done, I mean, MaxPax can A-move that position anytime he wants. MaxPax is being almost too patient, I would argue. And the Immortal goes down. The Colossus, one of them stuck behind each other. No way. Oh my god, is this actually gonna hold? Oh my gosh, no way! MaxPax was so far ahead, but the position is so good. The Colossus run in and die. Oh my lord. He does take out most of the tanks, I think. But he lost most of his Phoenix as well. Oh man, MaxPax should not be losing this game, but there's a third command center behind it. Byun's actually back in a good position. That is crazy. That's so crazy. And the fact that he didn't set up a flank of Zealots by warping in and running them around the right side, that fight there is all about flanking with a bunch of Zealots to kill the tanks. If you can't get Zealots on the tanks, you can't do it. He could have even just ran Zealots out the left side and flanked. This is one of those things I keep seeing lately is entrenched Terran pushes not getting flanked with full surrounds. This is like, if there's a curse in the last 2 years of StarCraft, it's people forgetting how to flank and surround Terran 2 base pushes. It's such an important piece of the puzzle. I still think with Zealot Archon, you got a way more efficient army, man. Oh, the Phoenix are going to run in and die. He's just going to go for it. One of the Colossus goes down. Oh, man. The Archon Colossus is so much better versus the Marine Marauder, but they're shooting turrets and tanks. So all of his Zealots are getting killed by the Bio. And it's Byun's tanks are killing the Colossus. His Bio's killing the Zealots. And he comes out. Yes, there's still some important units alive. But he's got a third up. Has he got starports going yet? He's building Vikings. He's got 3 medevacs. He's building Vikings. He's got his 5 barracks coming up. He's got +1 attack on the way. He's going to go Ghost Academy because he gets AMPs. He'll be huge. I think he might have to wait on taking the third, though. I think if Byun floats his third to the corner and drops mules there, that'd be good. But he can't actually defend a third base. No, yeah, MaxPax might be able to just kill him. If he moves out to that third's in trouble. MaxPax, notice he's hiding it. He's hiding it. He's like, please drop mules, build SCVs. But he's like, nah, better go in and just deny it now. That drop is dangerously close to the Archons. Archons don't have any mobility abilities, though. Any mobility abilities. Scan takes out the Observer. Third command center is denied. Third Nexus goes down for MaxPax. Look how oversaturated he is. 26 out of 12, 9 out of 8. He's going to need to transfer these bad boys over. And if he can get a 4th Nexus up as well, his income will jump up massively. Whereas Byun, he's also minding out that main base is down to just 3 mineral patches. Just actually very early for him to be on 3 mineral patches. He should have been spreading his mules out. One of these mineral patches here, he dropped way too many mules on. Ghosts are coming out. MaxPax needs to go home. He's got to be real careful here. If the Archons could hit the Vikings once, that's not bad. Okay. Oh man, but he's getting Stim Chase. Now Stim Chase is dangerous for Byun because it does wound his units and MaxPax is setting up a flank. Oh, Archons from both sides up. Byun actually gets his units misclicked for a moment there, loses quite a lot of bio. MaxPax has the better quality army, and by far. The problem is he lost a Colossus, and it's mostly Zealot Archon. And the moment that Ghost count gets up, if these guys get a second EMP, if he has a good position, Archons suddenly aren't the better tech army, right? Give Byun another minute. He's got Vikings to counter the single Colossus, and he'll have enough EMPs to counter everything else. This Observer's going to go down the moment this turret finishes as well. MaxPax has not moved it. It goes down. It's a big, desperate attack. Mules do drop on this base. MaxPax feels he needs to go right now, and I think he's probably correct on that. Let's see if he can break Byun. Byun is up 20 army supply. The EMPs are pretty okay. They hit some of these Archons, but I just don't think there's enough for MaxPax. MaxPax getting taken out by a desperate push. I can't believe it. Byun recently has won so many games that he had no business winning. And that shows that he is playing very, very confident in StarCraft. It shows that even when he's behind, he doesn't give up hope at all. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people scratching their head saying, how do I defend that? What the hell, dude? I think we've got to go back to this point and say, why did MaxPax not just win the game right here, guys? Think about it. He's got plenty of lifts. 1, 2, 3, 4... potentially 5 lifts, right? Even if he just picks up 5 Marines, guys, there's only 16 Marines. That leaves 11 Marines. You've got a big pack of gateway units. You don't need charge. You can just run down. You might be like, well, but the tanks will shoot the Colossus. It takes 6 siege tank shots to kill a Colossus. 70 damage each. So you do 3 shots, 210. And then if the Colossus moves back and only takes 2 more shots, doesn't take a third one from the back tank, Colossus can survive. And then the thing is, like, your Immortal's going to click these front tanks down really quickly. Or, well, guess what? Why not just fly in with the Phoenix, pick up the 3 tanks? And all you do is you just click your whole army in the center of the Marines. You just go click on this guy, you know, or A-move it, and then just, like, get the Colossus to target fire while the Marines will kill a bunch of Phoenix, and then they will start getting shots off. But by that point, the Marines are dead, the Immortals on top of the tanks. This game could have been finished here if MaxPax was more decisive. Likewise, when he went for that big break, if he had Zealots flanking from this right side, he absolutely crushes it, guys. But because he couldn't get on top of the siege tanks, remember what I said? Colossus only do good damage versus Marines, so they're pretty useless in this situation. And these tanks are all protected in the back, and the tanks just do not go down. And that's a huge problem. Where if you got 6 or 7 Zealots from behind, all these tanks are friendly firing each other and just dying to the Zealots so quickly, and then there's just a few Marines shooting you, nothing else. Easy peasy victory. You've got to set up flanks against this sort of push. Big mistakes for MaxPax in this one, Byun taking a 3-1 lead. Such a good opening for him in that last game. A bit of a tragedy to let it slip away. He's now finding himself on a smaller map, bit more familiar. And you know what? I think this sort of map should favor Terran a bit more, but who knows? Psystorm Gaming's MaxPax might just be more comfortable on the shorter map since he's had so much practice on it in that last season's map pool. Byun in the top left side doing very well. It's funny, you know, the pro gamers like Byun did kind of think this map pool would be bad for Terran. And I think as they're playing it, they're adapting so surprisingly well. I've heard from Zerg pros, they've said, oh, this map pool and balance we thought would be better for Zerg than Terran, but somehow the Terrans are adapting really well and they're beating us a lot. Like, I've heard a few Zerg players who are kind of like, they're like, I'm not sure the reasoning, but it just, the Terrans are kicking our butts. And the thing is, I think people forgot just how important multi-prong was. And I think there's going to be an updating of the skill set where I think the Terrans stayed really good at multi-prong always. And I think that the Zergs and the Protosses are going to need to catch up in terms of their abilities in the movement game in the versus Terran matchup. Because a really excellent Terran player, I've always said, you know, a Zerg or a Protoss left to their own devices, playing a defensive style, it doesn't really look that hard on the mechanical side. You're like, yeah, they don't have to do that much. It's pretty easy, right? But you play against an excellent Terran player, they force that Protoss or Zerg to play at a very high speed to defend everything the Terran throws at them. And that's really the thing. An exceptional Terran player knows how to make the opponent have to play really good to earn even a chance at victory. Now, MaxPax coming in for the block here, but we see he's only at 400 minerals now, so the block only really commences from here, and it ends up being about a 3-second delay, maybe 4 seconds at the absolute most. Nothing too big there. Marine into reactor for Byun, which tells us he's not as focused on the quick factory. More likely wants to get 3 Marines out, try to catch the first Adept coming across the map and that sort of thing. Now, this sort of build is a little vulnerable if a Zealot comes out early, arrives, and manages to get that SCV before the next 2 Marines are out, and then the Adept comes in. The fight can go pretty rough. This is still a very quick chronoed Adept, though, and with good micro from MaxPax, 1 or 2 small mistakes from Byun could be costly. Small mistake for MaxPax here, guys. He doesn't have... Yes, he does. I was going to say he doesn't have the 3rd worker rallied to the gas, but that's because he was bringing the scouting probe back to do it. Good call by him. Now, you notice he's playing shield battery and rallying probes. This is that ultra conservativeness of MaxPax I talked about. It's actually a Marine. It's a Marine first. We didn't need all that safety precaution. He does it anyway. And I mean, it's good to play safe StarCraft. Let's see what he can find with the Adept. 3 Marines already here. He should throw another hit, but no. He just says, no, preserve the hit points. Loses 11 hit points. Adept's very squishy units. Only 140 hit points. Compared to the 150 Zealot, 160 Stalker. Robo and Twilight are coming down here pretty quickly. And there's 5 Marines on that high ground. You can try to run in and, you know, hit a Marine, that sort of stuff. But just scouting for now. Now that's a 3rd command center into a 2nd barracks. A very greedy build for Byun. Now I've seen players do this and then just play so greedy in the follow-up. 3rd barracks goes down. I really feel like as long as you build a bunker and repair it against any blink aggression, you'll be good. And if you go up against like 2-gate blink, it's very bad for the Protoss player because they end up quite far behind economically. On the other hand, if they go 4-gate blink and don't kill you or do massive, massive damage, they're going to be screwed. We know MaxPax, he almost predictably goes 4-gate blink. Yeah. He does this like 70% of his games. I mean, you never know how much he's committing with it. The thing is, I feel like Parting's 4-gate blink always had a bit more spice, a bit more pizzazz, a bit more danger to it. MaxPax, it's the macro transition after some harassment you have to worry about. With Parting, it was always like, oh god, I could die at any moment. Now, you're going to see, this is one of the maps that only has a small blink up area. You can blink Stalkers there, but that's it. You can't really blink across here or anything like that. There's a ramp on the natural. This is one of the best maps to do a greedy build like this. There's a reason why Byun picked this map. All the other maps, you get this giant... Like, you know, if this was a different map, you'd have tank here, and then the ledge is, like, all the way over here, and there's, like, this giant area you can blink in and dance around in the main and fall back to heal and all that sort of stuff. No pressure coming out of Byun, of course, with the 3 racks. It's a very defensive 3 racks. He's not building a bunker, which could hurt him as this game goes on. 4-gate Stalker. Prism's already almost out. 5 Stalkers on the way. Well, great Adept Micro. I like that he's keeping these Adepts alive because they can cause a very nice distraction later on while blinking into the main base potentially. Thing is, I don't think he's going to hit early enough to get rid of Stim. Marauders are building. Okay, yeah. The 2 safety precautions you need is the bunker and the Stim. And the Marauder production, sorry. If you have a bunker finished on the natural and you're starting to pump Marauders 2 at a time, you're much safer. I saw Hero Marine do this recently where he skipped both of these. And I was like, dude, there's 3 command center greed and then there's like another level of greed where you don't build Marauders. But Marauders are so good. Now, problem, doesn't have much bio nearby. Stim's not quite done. He can just take the bunker out. Good move by MaxPax. Might lose that Stalker if he's not careful. But gets the bunker. Going to force a big boy SCV pull. And good pickup so far. Don't want to lose any of these units. 4 SCVs go down. Doesn't pick off too much of Byun's army. Oh, the Marine counterattack. He does have 4 Stalkers ready though. Oh, very nice moves here because Byun knows he's very light on the units. But with 4 Stim Marauders, you just run away. If he stims those Marauders, you just get out of there. You don't stand to fight. Yeah, no, you can't stand and fight. Oh no, he loses so many Stalkers while these Marines get in here. He does only lose 1 Stalker at home. He gets 10 SCVs. He's only lost 5 Stalkers in total. 1 at home, 4 in the front. Could have been worse. But those Stim Marauders, those are things you've really got to fear. If you can focus them down while keeping your Stalkers alive, it can scale very well in your favor. But look, there's a new bunker up. There's 6 Marauders with Stim. And the medevacs will be starting up any moment now. Not to mention the income is out of this world with those mules all dropping. The mass repair is ready. Very nicely done by Byun. He stims the bunker. Finally stims some Marauders as well. And it should just immediately build that bunker. You can see MaxPax, you kind of just have to run. You can't really stand and fight too well. Because yeah, the second stim comes out of the Marauders and he's like, just get out of here. Thing is, the Marauders are very fragile. And the moment the stim runs out and they're getting pursued by Mass Stalker, they can go down. Bunker didn't rebuild. Bunker didn't rebuild, and the medevacs aren't finished yet. Those units are getting very low. Byun still with no tanks, and no medevacs, and no bunker. And I think he's let MaxPax find an opening. Now MaxPax is going to get even more damage. The worker count is very close, but that's not going to last for long. He's got to pull the boys to tank for his Marauders. Good blink back micro. Dodging a lot of projectiles is MaxPax. That's the most impressive part. They do start to fall here, and that's why you got to be real careful with these fighting retreats. You need to do a little bit more run and a little bit less shoot. He gets 14 SCVs, but he's lost a lot of Stalkers now. And that allows Byun to say, I've got the bigger, better army now. I'm back in control. With triple mules dropping, he can recover from that. MaxPax, he's got charge. He's going for 8 gateways. So he's planning to do another attack very soon. I would like to see +1 start up on that forge. He probably thinks he started it, but clicked it when he didn't have enough money. He's going to do a Stalker drop in the main. Byun, this turret is so genius. Problem on this map is the Prism can go around it. Oh, MaxPax taking a lot of damage on that Prism, man. And he's just going to pick up and get out of there now. Oh, hello. Oh, you got to be careful. Manson is going to take a lot of damage. Medevac flying through into the open. And just get out of there now, I think. Maybe pick off a Marauder and then run, yeah. Get some Marine, damages a Marauder, blinks, and run. Rue is going to be the way. The Prism saves a few of those, and man, these Marauders are going to need so much health care. Those medevacs are dry. They are very low on juice. But Byun has a 3rd down. Up against a 60 pro Protoss. Moving out to take a 4th base. +1 is on the way. It's mostly Marauders, though. Remember, the early core of Marines died. And he's actually completely forgotten combat shields this game. He starts it up now. If you don't have an early core of Marines up, you don't have a lot of anti-Zealot firepower. So as these Zealots come in, they're going to tank really well for the Stalkers. There's not a lot of healing on the medevacs. This feels like that situation where MaxPax can just keep extending the fighting. And Byun, even if he has enough numbers to win one pitched battle, if you just keep dragging out, he's going to stim himself to death. He won't have enough medevac juice to keep his units up. He's got a tank out now. That's up on the high ground. If it comes down, he's got a tank there. If he can put another tank here, I do think those tanks can help him survive. Zealot Stalker coming in from both sides. MaxPax going for a brutal killing blow here. Zealots on the top side getting a bit of a trap on that bio. That tank goes down. The other tank will siege up and potentially get some big shots off. Nice stutter step here for Byun. And it looks like MaxPax has to back out. Very good hold by Byun. Byun's up in supply. There is a 4th on the way and a Colossus transition. I like that MaxPax is keeping busy with his transitions. If he can get a Prism in the back of the natural with a Zealot drop, something like that could really be excellent here. And DTs is the other thing that I'd like to see him slide in because he's been so aggressive this game. Look at that. Yeah, he's got a Zealot run by for the 3rd. So his army will posture in, pull the units down. Zealots will drop the natural in the main from the left side with this prism, and then these Zealots will run in from the top right. This is excellent multi-prong for MaxPax as he swaps into a more conservative follow-up of Colossus, probes, all that sort of stuff. Second Forge. There we go. Zealots running on the top. 2 of them commit. 2 of them try to run away. Only gets 2 SCVs though. So that's a bit disjointed. He should have been coming in with all 3 prongs at once. Instead, it's 1 prong, then another prong. Drops 2 Zealots in the natural. Mining time alone is going to be very frustrating. Could go after the Metavacs, but the tank does cover. Those Zealots get a few more SCVs. Zealots in the main. Going to try and focus down a few more. Nice snipes there, but accidentally clicked both snipes on the same Zealot. Stalkers pick off a few Marines in the mid-town of the map. 14 SCVs go down from this drop. A fantastic trade. And MaxPax finds himself at 70 workers versus 48, looking for a 5th base. And I think he's looking also to just smash a Zealot Archon Colossus into his opponent's face the moment he steps out on the map. 2-1 upgrades on the way for MaxPax, whereas for Byun, he's stuck on 1-1 right now. He's building Liberators. He's trying to make a 4th command center by the looks of it there in the natural. I think if Byun turtles, he can actually survive and drag this one out to late game. And he's shown survivability there. Hero can't really kill him in late game. MaxPax doesn't seem to be able to kill him either. Let's see. Oh, you got to be careful though. I don't know, man. This is a bit of an odd position that Byun's attacking into. Oh, he's getting Zealot dropped. That's why. Big Warp Prism, Zealot warp in. The Colossus out here. Oh man, battery overcharge goes down, but this is a good position for Byun potentially. Those tanks on the left side making it really hard for him. Where the hell are his Zealots going to go to? Looks like the Stalker's going to finally get on top of those units on the left. The double stim does mean that Marauders were entering this fight heavily wounded. Finally, the tank goes down on the backside, giving the range advantage to MaxPax. He needs those Zealots to go in, though. Those Zealots need to guard the Colossus. He loses one of them. Finally, the Zealots go in, but a little bit too late. He loses one of them behind it. Those Zealots in the 3rd mineral line. The main base finally defended, but not before losing a lot of work as MaxPax, man, even in a game where it feels like he's diddling Byun on a few fronts, struggles to deal with that push when it does come across the map. Barely holds on here. It just feels like Byun has a killer instinct for when and where to push. MaxPax is going to have to transfer these workers around. This time he's fixing it up. He has a moment of respite to fix his economy, and that's huge. Something he was not fixing on Ancient Cistern earlier in the series. MaxPax definitely in the lead economically, and the longer Byun takes to do anything, the worse it gets for him. Now, on the other hand, we could argue that, hey, just send a bloody Viking up here. You've got 2 Liberators. Get rid of this Warp Prism. Letting this stay here has been a huge mistake for him in this game, and the Zealots are just going to keep coming in. He's trying to rebuild SCVs now, but he's got to keep massing SCVs. If he builds them 4 at a time, drops mules off these 4 orbitals at a time, Byun can get back in this game. Like 4 orbitals, non-stop SCV production. We've seen his fights are incredible, but he's got to focus on the workers and survive another big attack from MaxPax, because MaxPax isn't going to stop attacking. He's going to keep trying to kill Byun, and I wouldn't be surprised if he builds a new prism and just flies that once again down this left flank of the map into the natural in the main. The angle which not enough players take advantage of. It's almost always undefended in every matchup. Colossus, Zealot, Archon pulling back. Liberator's going to try and siege at the front. Prisms warping in, Stalkers and Zealots there. The Colossus have already done a good amount of damage. The Vikings starting to pepper them. It's a good angle for Byun though. My gosh, the Prism goes down. The EMPs are huge. What is wrong with this man? Just die, Byun. How do you not die? He's just, is he immune? Is he an immortal? Is he cosplaying as a bloody Protoss unit right now with a hardened shield? I feel like he has a bug where he's got his own personal hardened shield on unlimited cooldown. Like it just instantly cools down the moment it pops off and you can't get any damage through him. You're waiting for the barrier to turn off and it never does. It's just a big beaming ball of light around him. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. It's still down 30 workers. The question is, if you keep losing your army like that as MaxPax, can you ever actually exert this superiority over him? And it feels like this is the missing piece of the puzzle. That Dark Shrine. Imagine if there's a DT here, DT here, DT here. Byun's completely dead. And I feel like this is probably the one thing that MaxPax needs to do a little bit more, is just keep focusing on the picking him apart. And also, where are the disruptors? MaxPax is famous for not building disruptors, and I think it really hurts him. He goes them later in the game, but he'll often play with no disruptors for the longest time. And I understand you might want to adapt that because of the bigger, wide open maps in the modern pool. But he's so often on single robo, like 12 gateways before getting a second robo, to me seems like madness, because those robo units are such killers, man. And he's on mass Zealot. which is good for run-bys and backstabs, but in one big frontal fight, BMP is going to be devastating against a big ball of Zealots. Byun's coming forward, and that's going to be hard to defend because he's got the superior army, but the Zealots will come from behind and clean up the tank to start the fight. Big Zealot warp in there as well. The Zealots do go pretty far ahead. Upgrades a 2-2 versus 1-1 in MaxPax's favor, and that is huge. That is huge. The 2-2 kicking in is massive. Byun has to pick up his army and boost towards the main base. And after a game of turtling for so long and hanging on, it seems like when he did push, it did play into the Protoss' favor because he didn't get the Nexus. He does kill Artosis there. See if he can take Tassels out down here in the bottom side, but no, he's going to get cornered. There's a lot of Stalkers, so I think he might just try to... Oh, he does try to get out, but he loses one full medevac. Colossus is still down there. Vikings are shooting them, though. Oh, no, the Colossus caught out in the open. Oh, this is painful for MaxPax. He does actually lose some units. Byun's turning this scrappy position to his advantage. And he's going to pick back up and go into the main, maybe? Oh, 12 probes. Are you serious? 13 probes go down. He's going to hide in the dead space down the bottom. He knows he doesn't have a Stargate. Prism does barely survive there. MaxPax, he's got a 6th base in the top side. He's going to rebuild 6 probes at a time. His +3 armor's well towards finishing. So even when 2-2 finishes for Terran, Protoss will still have that armor upgrade advantage. He boosts into the bottom. Remember, this map has a crazy amount of dead space on the bottom, guys. Battery overcharge, Stalker blink, and a Zealot warp in. Should be able to deal with this eventually. But look at that. Micro by Byun even tries to get a snipe off in the midst of it. The Stalkers do take out one medevac. One of them somehow survives. MaxPax has got to be frustrated. He's going to go for the counterattack. It's pure Zealot Stalker, but the libs weren't really sieged. There's no medevacs here. The unit trying to get back to the safety of the mineral line. But dude, that is 3-2 by Protoss units versus 1-1 Terran. And all that earlier economic advantage, the constant fighting and SCV losses on Byun's side have added up. It's like grinding a man down with a piece of sandpaper. Wax on, wax off. Sand on, sand off. But eventually, MaxPax grinds him down to dust there after 16 minutes of hard work. All right, well, he's getting it back towards a close series. He's fighting hard. He's fighting well. And you know what? I think there is a real beauty to that no disruptor style that he's playing. But if he's going to save the gas on that, I would like to see the DTs come in a little bit earlier and just continue to working the Zealot multi-prong, but also start to slip DTs in. I think especially getting blink DTs and then blink them up this ledge into the Terran's main base can be amazing. On this map, it's very hard because the 3rd sits so far in front. It's hard to get in behind to blink up there, but definitely an option. Byun in the top left side. Looks like he's going to proxy again. Been really enjoying the proxy barracks, and you know what? MaxPax hasn't really consistently looked for it. And the thing is, even if he did, Byun's been pretty good at hiding it. Like down there, it's pretty hard to get to. Even if you find it with a probe, you're gonna have to go all the way around, and then the SCV floats to the top side. You'll need 2 probes to get rid of that. Luckily for MaxPax, he is going to invest in the wall off on the ledge. Normally something I don't really enjoy that much, but it is specifically very powerful at stopping this sort of build where the Reaper, instead of jumping straight into the main, has to go all the way around on this detour. And that very much diminishes the chances of getting any probe kills. This Probius is going to come on in, and this is going to be the first warning that MaxPax has of the fact that there is a proxy out there. He's also seeing 2 gas geysers very early. And we should be seeing that Cybercore going down right now. He's not going to wall off with the Cybercore. Interesting. Wait, is that already a full wall? Just a single gateway? Oh, it looks like it might be on this map, because I think these little circles kind of show, they denote the edges. So basically just a single gateway is all that's super exposed. That's actually really cool. Okay, I really definitely think it's worth it blocking it if that's the case. SCV is going to come in now. See that pylon on the front. And already up to 3 workers on gas, 15 on minerals. Tells me he might be thinking about getting a Stargate after he blocks this. Probe still harassing on the front side. Going to go after that SCV building the depot. Extra SCV comes down. He could commit for the kill, but not. That SCV floats away. MaxPax has to back on off. Bunker going down in the natural. That's very cute, but the probe... MaxPax bringing the probe down. I don't particularly like that move. I feel like you can drop it a bit later. On the other hand, that speeds up the Stalker being able to get rid of the bunker, so arguably worth losing a probe for that. Oh, he's going to lose a second one, though. Byun with Slick Micro. Oh, he didn't build a Zealot this game, MaxPax, so it does cost him. Stalker can get 1 or 2 hits off on the SCV before it's done building. That's really impactful, because the SCV doesn't actually have a lot of life, and now the Stalker can just stand and fight, so... Yeah, you lost 2 probes, that sucks, but not the end of the world. MaxPax, you should really work on keeping that 3rd one alive, though, that's for sure. You can see he's going to try and do a bit of the in and out micro there. Good dodging so far by Byun, with the Stalker able to sit right there. It is a bit of a bummer. You can see that shield battery being focus fired. Wise by Byun. It says kill the shield battery rather than trying to kill the stalkers. And that's actually really smart. But the SCV went down as well. So, of course, that bunker will be burning in a moment's time. He's going to try and salvage it. Can he save it in time? It's worth clicking on that. This is something Protoss players and everyone doesn't do enough, is click the bunker. Guys, if you click it and kill it before it finishes salvaging, you deny them 75 minerals, which is a lot. That's you know, 1.5 Marines, almost as much as a Reaper. It's a good cost, and it was very low on hit points, so I do think MaxPax could have focused that in time. That's why often the Reapers dive up the cliff towards your probes to force your Stalkers to run back and chase them, but not able to do it on this map. Phoenix follow-up, very standard. You can predict it's a Phoenix follow-up even without scouting it. That's why he's gone straight Cyclone, because that's generally what you follow up with as the Protoss player. And MaxPax especially, he's the guy I learnt this off. He's played against so many of these bunker rushes. He almost always goes 2 or 3 Stalkers, shield battery into Phoenix, and he even builds another shield battery, making himself extra safe against any Cyclone Reaper follow-up. So far, he is hiding those Phoenix, is he? Yeah, first one is going to wait on the high ground there, so he's not going to show that. And a Robo, a 3rd gas, and a 4th gas. MaxPax going for that 2-base Colossus Phoenix play again. And you know what? It's up against 3 racks factory. This is a rematch, effectively, of Dragon Scales, where, okay, he's going to build Tank Bio, and he's probably going to come and do that same sort of bunker push, which, if he gets positioned, this is a pretty narrow choke point. This is like, he could go bunker, bunker, and basically have that full area almost walled off, right? And then maybe leave a little opening and just start to inch forward. Or he could come down here and bunker here and then mine it open. And that Robo is terribly positioned because tanks there easily kill it. So MaxPax should preemptively be mining open these minerals so that he can get down there to defend. Otherwise, he's going to really struggle with dealing with that. And that's something you should always be aware of on this map. Now, Phoenix haven't killed anything yet. Only 1 SCV's gone down for 3 probes and a shield battery. So Byun's doing pretty good in the units lost tab, but you got to realize that he's down 13 workers. As these Phoenix see tanks and Marines pumping out, there's no starport. If they can realize all that, then they should be realizing there's a big push coming his way very soon. Phoenix takes a bit of a tickle there. Stalker Immortal's going to come out. We'll take out one of these Reapers. Don't think they can get the second one in time, though. 3rd base looks like it's focused on there for MaxPax, but MaxPax, I don't know if he has a full read. The Cyclone is doing a good job. Remember, on Dragon Scales, the Cyclone died, and the Phoenix could see everything. This time, it's taking him a little bit longer. He sees the eBay. He doesn't see gases mining on the natural. Should be a tell in of itself, and he's building a 2nd Immortal, which is glorious. If he can get 1 Colossus to deal with the Stim Shield Marines before the push comes, his Immortals will ruin the tank Cyclone. SCVs are going to pull. Byun's going to go for it. Exact same push as Dragon Scales. And I think MaxPax had the perfect answer on Dragon Scales. I think he has a near perfect answer again. Even though his Phoenix haven't been rampaging as hard, he should be very well set up with a battery on both bases and the Phoenix able to do pickups as well. He's going to see those rocks getting taken down. I'd like to see the Phoenix dip around behind and look for pickups on the production, because you know those units will rally across at some point. But no starport, no 3rd gas, no 3rd commands, and Byun is going hard on this push. MaxPax is going to try and engage him out here, but with Stim and Shields done and no Colossus ready yet, he's got to wait for the Colossus to get here. Once the Colossus is here, I think he can take this fight. Not as many Adepts as he had on Dragon Scales. I don't think it matters. Oh, almost gets the Cyclone, but not quite. And those Phoenix, what are they doing? I don't know why the Phoenix haven't gone around to cut off the reinforce. He's trying to use them as part of the frontal army. And it can work. But, oh, he's going to go for it. But, oh, I think he's a bit too far forward. The tanks get some big volleys off. He's going to need to heal those units up. He does get a lot of the Marines and a Stim out, though. And if Byun gets tanks there, you're screwed. No, you cannot let him siege there. Immortals can shoot across the gap. Byun knows it. Byun's played it before. He knows that the tanks have to sit. If they go right against the minerals, Immortals walk up and kill you for free. So he actually sets up really cleverly. The Phoenix need to go cut off the reinforcements right now. There's no medevacs on this map. And I think MaxPax can afford to give this base up if he has to, but he's got to build more pylons behind this. His Twilight Council is once again very late, which means the fact that he didn't clear this push up earlier is a huge problem. He's going to potentially take out the Cyclone, but the Marines are too close. So he's just going to go after the rally now. But the bunker's building on the front. Time to give up that base for MaxPax. He's getting cornered. He's letting himself get cut off here. MaxPax going for it. A crazy push forward. He gets 1 tank, 2 tanks. Will he get the 3rd tank? No! It's too many siege tanks blasting him. And I can't believe it. Byun's done the same build again. I may be underestimating this push. It is, of course, quite strong once you get the turrets and the bunkers up. But I really thought MaxPax would be able to handle it. I guess we've got to realize that maybe he just didn't have as many adepts this time, as many gateway units supporting, and so that ability to break the push wasn't quite there. On the other hand, I do think if he just engaged more confidently earlier, he could have taken it on. But I think just being in a bit of a situation where it's hard to judge the push, easier said than done, of course, for us on the sidelines. We get to see everything. MaxPax only gets a partial picture. It's hard for him to make that call. And now, after losing all those units, he finds himself in a terrible position where he's kind of waiting for charge, but he's already lost Colossus. He's lost a lot of units. His third now goes down. He should recall these units. Oh, actually, a lot of the tanks died, so it looks like he can get out of there. Not too bad. Phoenix are getting some good pickoffs. He's only got 4 Phoenix, which is not that many. Behind this, it looks like no third command center. It's all in for Byun. He wants to finish this series off. What a deadly push this is. I think I might be trying this one out if I'm playing against a Phoenix player, especially someone who has clearly showed they're favoring Phoenix Colossus specifically. Wouldn't be doing this probably against Phoenix Charge. I mean, it could work. It could, but if they really commit hard on the Phoenix Charge, they'd probably just A-move over you when your tanks are unsieged and destroy your face. But when he does break this, yeah, what I really want to see is him clear these turrets, first of all. Just kill them for free now. And then split Zealots across. And use Zealots and Phoenix to keep intercepting the reinforcements. And then look for maybe a sandwich on this army. Because MaxPax is letting him keep those buildings. Look at this. He's like freely rotating over there. Tanks are going to siege. The Bio's going to have to try and deal with the Zealots. The tanks need to focus the Colossus, but they're not really in range. And it looks like that push will get cleared for now. The turret doing pretty good. The Marines actually kill a lot of the Zealots though, and some of them even live to tell the tale. One of the Colossus almost goes down. Tanks and Marines and Marauders stumbling into the middle of the map a little bit awkwardly there. Byun's going to pull back. He's got a third on the way. He lost a lot of valuable units. This may give MaxPax hope. If MaxPax wants to play a longer game, he's got to drop 2 Nexi right now. Otherwise, he's got to go all in. The fact that he's building a prison, building an Archon, to me, says he probably wants to go all in. He's going to drop that third. I don't know, man. Oh, he's going to look for the counterattack. This is a sloppy attack, though. He's not organized. He's not organized, and I don't think this works at all. He kind of just stumbles into the Terran position. Phoenix not scouting ahead, and I think MaxPax has given up. I think that attack there just looked like it was just a lazy A move across the map. He knows he's in a terrible position, and there's a terrible position where a pro player smiles and knows what their path to victory is, even though it's low percentage. You'll see them kind of embrace the challenge. I think at this point, MaxPax has been bullied a little bit too much in this series, and he's building probes and a Nexus, but like I said, you need 2 Nexi. If you want to bounce back from this, because your main and natural are both half-mined out in a moment, you're not going to be able to use even 55 probes efficiently on that 3 base. Colossus trying to pull back. I like this. Just shave the units off, do some harass, but remember, look, main is half-mined out, natural. These patches are about to mine out in the next minute. That one's gone in a sec, that one's gone in 1 minute, that one's gone in 1 minute, that one's gone in a minute and a half. Which means 8 workers mining there, 8 workers mining there, 16 on the third. That's basically having only 2 base mineral income. It's not great. He's going to go for a bust. The Phoenix pick up some of the tanks. The Zealots go for a big engage. That's a lovely little maneuver there, but he doesn't quite have the numbers, does he? The Colossus goes down to the tank. The Phoenix gets one more lift. Nothing shooting down the Phoenix. The Archon Colossus is slaying. He accidentally does attack the rocks for just 1 Colossus attack. Not the end of the world. He gets 19 SCVs. He's got a few more Zealots coming in. MaxPax might be actually back in this game. The Ghosts are out, and they are surviving. That one tank anchoring the position. Another tank comes forward. Looks like he's going to go for an Archon drop. A very good choice for MaxPax. He just did a lot of damage. 19 SCVs. That is actually brilliant. I said he might have given up. I called that way too early because he just took a very clever fight. He's going to start a Forge. I still think he desperately needs that 4th base. This is something too many players forget about in these messy games. Archons get 3 more SCVs. Really nice. But look at this. He's still probing, guys. He's already saturated. And as these minerals run out, he's going to be more oversaturated. Starting in messy games that have a lot of action early, the power of the double expand is huge. If you guys understand your fundamentals of economy, it's something you can apply in your own games as well. If you find yourself defending a push and then having a bigger army, but you don't feel you can actually go and kill them with that army, and you know you're behind on economy, you've got to lean into that economy super hard. MaxPax is doing a little bit of both right now, and he's done some very good trades with it, but I don't think this next one will work out. Well, actually, there's only 1 EMP. Only 1 EMP available. It might be the right timing to go. He's got 4 Archons. The depots are going to stop him, though. A lot of his units are going to waste attacks on those depots if he's not careful. A few Zealots go on the tank. Oh, nice split. 3 Zealots on that tank in the natural. I think that's a pretty worthwhile trade. But he still hasn't started the 4th Nexus. And guys, look at that income. 14 out of 8 workers there. 18 out of 18. He's building more probes. But this is the thing. Even on 50 workers, he'd be fully saturated right now. even on just 4 gases like he is. He now drops the 4th base, the 2nd robo, the extra 2 gases, but it feels like it's plan B or plan C. And it's so important when you're behind in games to very, very quickly explode back in terms of economy or army and be extra decisive, because Byun's got 1-1. Whereas +1 only now coming in, a couple snipes to clean up some guys. The Zealot drop going around the back of the natural could be a good way of buying yourself some time. I like that Disruptors are coming out earlier and double Robo Disruptor for pretty much the first time in this series. Maybe feeling this map's a little bit more compact to make that work. And now that 4th is getting close to finished, we will see MaxPax hopefully able to make use of that economy. Zealot drop comes in, Vikings say no. He's got to get these guys out of here. Don't just leave him there. Yeah, because you know Byun is very good at clearing up map control. He's going to hunt those down. So a little bit lazy of MaxPax to just send those forward. It looks like he was grouping his whole army on the front for a push, but he loses 4 Zealots for free. Can't be affording trades like that. 5 Zealots for free. The one on the Watchtower goes down as well. Oh, that's 500 minerals. That's like losing a Nexus and more. Second Forge coming up. The Disruptors are here. He wants to try and put pressure onto his opponent. Breaking these rocks might be viable for MaxPax. Remember, you can break those rocks as well. If he moves through the slow zone, you can break those rocks. Might be worthwhile right now, actually. If you break these rocks, rocks will fall there. You could crush part of his army. If he's got too many units there, they won't get out of the way in time. Most people forget about using those rocks. I've only seen it once so far, someone using that in combat. Disruptor shot goes out there, zoning. Zealot warping in the natural. He's quick reaction, though. He's got a bit of bio there, plenty of bio, plus Vikings. The Vikings are going to shut it down, and that means he's going to take advantage and push on the front. A few Disruptors get blasted by the tanks. This 4th base does get taken out. MaxPax getting shot down by the Vikings. Oh no, the Colossus going down. He doesn't have Blink yet, and the Disruptors getting dodged very effectively while his Prism gets slapped down. Byun's ability to overcommit to shutting down the drop defense and then just push in and do a big decisive angle like this is great. It's so well done. It's very unique, I find, to Byun. His ability to make these sort of fights work the way he does. And now Byun's got that wedge. The siege tanks reaching into that main base. He's going to pick off a few buildings for free. A lot of pressure on there. Colossus have to be real careful. Those Disruptors should be still trying to throw some zoning shots. He's worried the Doom drop comes into the main and his splash damage is too out of position because the Vikings aren't going to let the Colossus back up that ramp. He's going to go for the engage on the low ground, but reinforcements coming in a giant arc. The tanks gunning down the Disruptors and the Colossus, and MaxPax does not have the numbers. Byun with that lovely bunker push does it yet again. What time did that bunker push first hit, guys? It was about 6:37 minutes, which sounds late. But you got to remember, this was off Proxy Reaper bunker. This was, oh, there we go, bringing back the unit. Yeah. It doesn't hit super early, but because he slowed the game down and messed it up, it's quite vicious. And on this map especially, you get tanks there and they cut this whole base off. And this is why I really dislike this base. I understand MaxPax took it because normally you take the triangle and then take this as your 4th with Phoenix Colossus because you can cover the air with the Phoenix. But on this map, I much prefer this 3rd base, mining open these minerals, because it doesn't have the same tank position. Now, people would argue, well, if they get tanks here, they can be good. But I think that's much more roundabout for those tanks to get all the way down there. And I think you've got more chance to engage them, because you can actually go like pylon, shield, battery out here and fight up there even to defend that angle. Nonetheless, Byun showing a very cool new push. We'll see if he uses this in Katowice at all. Definitely seems like a really nice one to mix in with the big macro multi-prong play, and I cannot wait to see if Byun can bring that A form to the World Championship. GG, well played. He gets the 4-2 victory. GG's Byun.